Greetings. In this video, we will be discussing using aliases in the terminal. This is a continuation of the previous video where we talked about customizing the terminal prompt. We will be looking at setting up custom aliases, which can be very useful for repetitive tasks or just plain long commands. For doing a simple repetitive task, an alias may be a better alternative than writing a script. While not being as powerful as scripts, they are perfect for automating many of the simpler tasks. As you work with aliases, you will find that there are some common standard ones defined in most bash scripts across most distributions, and you may be using them without even realizing it. Since we are looking at aliases in the bash terminal environment, it would be a good idea to see what's already out there and what's already defined for a terminal. Generally, for the most part, an alias is fairly simple. However, depending on your end goal, they can be at times somewhat more complex. However, make no mistake, while you can do a lot with aliases, they are at their heart just a one-liner and will never be as powerful as a full-blown script. But on the plus side, aliases can be defined in your bash configuration files and are readily available from the command line. Generally, scripts have to be written, made executable, and one has to run them rather than just using them. This video will continue to build on concepts covered in the other videos in the Terminal Linux series, as well as the customization of your environment. As with a lot of terminal customization, what you set up and use will be dependent on your workflow, your habits, your needs, your desires. The alias command is just another tool in your toolkit. An additional note, after the first of the year, I'll be relaunching the retiredtechie.com website. It's been down for around 6 months or so. I'm not yet 100% with the new design, but I think it's close enough to go live. I'm also working on setting up a Discord server, so some of this discussion can be taken there, or you can have actually longer, better discussions. But yeah, that's another thing to look for after the first of the year. Now, on with the video. We can think of aliases as replacing a word or a string with multiple words or a longer string. A primary use of the alias command is to create a string that will expand into a Linux command with multiple predefined options already set. Think of it as a command shortcut, if you would. You define it in your terminal environment. The alias command is found in most shell environments that you are likely to use today. Originally, the alias was part of the C shell or CSH. Interestingly, the original boron shell, SH, did not have an alias command, but had other similar functions built in. Most modern shells, like the cron shell or KSH, or the born again shell or bash we're using, did adopt the alias command. Note that versions of alias have been published in Amiga DOS, FreeDOS, Windows PowerShell, and EFI shell, just to name a few places you can find it. Another way to look at the alias command, it replaces a string with a specific shell command, including options. In the bash shell, the alias command is a built-in. That is to say, it is part of the bash shell itself and then not a separate program. And interestingly, the alias command in the bash shell has very few options to speak of. The basic form of the alias command is alias, the alias string, and then the command you want to execute. Where the alias string is any alphanumeric character and the command is a shell command with all the options and everything you need to run it. The alias string, when typed, is replaced with the command string when executed. There are a lot of things we can do with aliases, but for this series I want to keep things simple, so I will be focused on looking at basic string substitution and command prompt. Anything more advanced will have to wait for a future video. All right, let's go ahead and fire up a virtual machine and log in. We can go ahead and open an external terminal emulator. We'll increase the font size so it's easier to see. Expand to full screen. There we go. That should make things easier for you out there. The color prompt, courtesy of our last video, custom bash prompts. Should check it out. Now, if we type just the command alias without any arguments or options, it will list the various aliases already defined in our shell. And as you can see here, we have an alias for dir, an alias for grep, an alias for ls. They basically all run the color prompts. That's basically what these do, is they set these up to run with color. So we look use the less command and look inside our .bashrc file, we can see where the aliases are actually defined here. And this is basically what we saw when we did alias without any options. You can look at them in your text editor if you want, get the little color picture. But it's basically the alias commands we see. So let's go ahead and jump back to the command line. We're going to do a variation of alias called unalias. This is going to delete all existing aliases within the terminal. So we'll start by unalias dir, and you can see that one disappears. And if we unalias with no arguments, or with the -a argument, that removes all aliases. So now if we run, for example, the ls command, we can see it's no longer in color. It's in, well, black and white here. It might be green and black, depends on your screen. So if we do exe, so next we'll clear the screen, and then we'll do an exec bash, which will reset our aliases that are listed in our .bashrc file, and we do alias, and we can see they're back. And if you do a list command, you can see it's now in color instead of just black and white. Okay, let's set up some additional aliases that we're not going to put in our bashrc file, but these are ones you might be interested in using yourself. We'll start with the ls command. So you'll notice we use ls with -a or -l a lot. So let's say LAL equals, and then it's going to equal within quotes. And this is the ls command with the -l and a options. And now you can see if we do alias, we've added this to our list of known aliases. And if we issue this command, LAL, we get the full list of our directory along with all hidden files. So yes, it did what it was supposed to do. Let's take a look in our directory here. We've got test and test02. Let's create a test01 for our next alias. Yeah, good, all the files are there. Now next is an alias that could possibly save you in certain circumstances. The rm or remove directory command, we're going to alias with rm and the option I, which means you need to confirm whatever you're removing with this command, as opposed to it just doing it when you execute it. So if we do rm test star, we can see the test file. We say yes, remove it, no to test01, and yes to test02, and we do an ls, we just have test01 left. So doing an rm equals rm space -i for the option will force rm to verify every file before you delete it. So like I say, this is not a big thing, but it can save your bacon sometimes. Sometimes people will issue an rm command and they didn't mean to delete what they were deleting. And once you hit it, if you don't use the -i option, everything's gone. This way you at least have a chance. Okay, let's get a little more complicated here. We'll alias the makedir command. For makedir, we'll add the -p option. When you run makedir with the -p option, this automatically creates a parent directory, so you can create a directory within a directory within a directory, and those directories don't have to exist, but they'll all be created. And if we do a list, now we can see we've got quite a few aliases building up in our terminal here. All right, here's a fun one. We're going to do an alias, and we call it .2 equals, and then we're going to cd space ... which normally if you did a cd ... it would take you up a directory level. This will take you up 2 directory levels. So let's jump into a lower directory and give it a try. And .2, and you can see it takes us up 2 levels. And we create another alias for the .3, and we get another /... to take you up 3 levels. Okay, what else? Let's do an alias of, ping command. Normally in Linux, unlike Windows, when you type the ping command, it will ping forever unless you break it off. However, if we only want it to ping 3 times, we can say alias ping. We'll call it png5, and we'll use the -c option and the 5, so it will only ping 5 times and then exit. And let's go ahead and ping the Arch Linux website. You see we got our 5 pings and then the command exited. Okay, now for something a little more complicated. This is going to be, we're going to play with the time function. So we'll use alias today. And since we're going to have to put single quotes within our alias string, we'll actually enclose the whole string in double quotes so we don't have any confusion. So we'll use the date function and then plus and then single quotes, %A, capital B, %D, capital Y. And you'll notice, again, we use double quotes around our whole alias and then single quotes around the escape sequences. So now when we run today, we get Sunday, December 15th, 2024. Sunday's SUN is kind of short. Let's adjust our alias. Let's go to a capital A. There we go. Sunday, December 15th, 2024. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and reset everything with an execute bash. And now we should use back to our default aliases. Which were defined in our .bashrc file. So that was several examples of everyday aliases that you might find useful in your own terminal environment. Okay, that's about it for this video. This is a little shorter than the last one. Aliases is a fairly straightforward topic. Hoping you can use some of the aliases we tried here, or you can come up with your own. If you come up with some good ones, please let me know what they are. I'm always interested. And again, you can always embed these in your .bashrc file to make them permanent in your terminal. And again, like I say, this is a shorter video than the last one because it's a quicker topic. Next, we're going to do some more customization to the terminal in the next video, but that's going to be more of, well, it's not going to be a visible customization. It's going to be more like how much memory the terminal takes up for previous commands and things like that. So that's coming up. I mentioned I'm going to be restarting Retired Techie or relaunching retiredtechie.com. I'm doing the Discord server thing, so keep an eye out for those. And as always, please like, subscribe, and comment. Anyway, we'll see you next time.